What's going on, Coaching Unplugged? Welcome. If you're new here, like and subscribe. You don't want to miss any of the videos that I decide to put out there and upload onto the channel. Help this channel grow by liking and subscribing. Stay plugged in. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any video. For my returning members have already been on here with me since the trenches. We appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate you 100% for just staying with me, not leaving the channel, helping the channel grow. And I wanted to kind of touch on a subject today, so we're gonna get into it. Definitely gonna talk about it. Stick around and let's get it unplugged. All right, so I have to say first, thank you for holding on, being patient. As I'm going through so many different things, I'm just really honestly, I am busy, y'all. I am actively out there. I'm focused on building this business for coveredinculture.com, which is my own clothing line. If you don't know, I have developed it, created it, had a second event this past weekend. I was in New York and Brooklyn selling shirts and trying to get my name out there, get my business out there. So I'm looking to have more events in the future, but when I don't have that, and I have a little downtime besides doing CrossFit workouts and such and traveling, I want to connect with you new videos because I am on the move, y'all. I done booked Barbados in October. I've got South Africa at the end of September into October. I've got Thailand in January. I just bought a drone, the DJI drone for Prime Day today. So I should get that on Friday. And I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna have some videos, so you'll see a little cinematic, content coming where I'll have I'm in South Africa and you can see, maybe like the animals and stuff like that below, the Serengeti. I'm trying to have my joint looking like National Geographic, when I'm out on destinations. But it's just a way for me to kind of further build a channel with you all, see greater content, and me on location in certain places. But we can't talk about great places and those things without getting into the subject that people care about the most. Of course, I talked about content where we talked about Colombia and traveling, the experience there. But the number one thing that always kind of slips my mind, and also I've seen someone recently commented on a video was, how can you actually work remotely? How can you work remotely in a destination trip, especially for my young 20 somethings, my early 30 somethings, even if you're over 40 or 50 years old? How can you work overseas and have the life that you want? So I don't live overseas, obviously. I live in Maryland. But being able to travel is important for me, and that requires some type of remote work. And for me, my job, I work with Amazon, so that's my full-time gig. I get the flexibility of being able to kind of, work, digitally, locally. When I'm international, I should say internationally. I don't have to necessarily be in the office for a certain week or so. I can be able to basically take my work with me and basically visit another country and work there. But I wouldn't go someplace I wouldn't work someplace like South Africa where the time change is crazy, or an Asian country like Thailand. I wouldn't work there because I just, it would not be possible. My sleep schedule, all that just wouldn't work. So you have to find a job that gives you the flexibility of being completely remote work, and then it doesn't allow you to, it doesn't keep you restricted, is what I want to say, right? So with my job, I can do what I need to do, but I'm in with a certain time zone, so I'll typically stay in on this side of the water, as far as on like this half of the Caribbean country, South America, those kind of places. I couldn't do something, across from that. Like it just wouldn't work. But the thing about it is you have to have a job that would allow you to do that. So some good jobs, the tech space is where it's at. Even when I working at Amazon, I don't work in cloud computing. I work in sales. We have to be in the office like 3 days a week. But the thing about it for me is that I would suggest taking up some type of cloud computing. Like for me, I plan on trying my hand at cloud computing, adding another tool under your belt. There's other companies that are willing to pay you to do some type of remote work, but the money is another thing, right? Like you got to be able to support, and it depends on how long you want to be. It depends on where you want to go. That's number one. And then what kind of lifestyle you're looking for. But the job has to make sense. For me, my job is flexible. So your job has to be flexible. It has to provide you enough income that can allow you to support, if you have bills here that you're still paying in America, right? Like if I wasn't, like I guess if I was in my 20s, my early 20s, I had to do this all over again, I would have probably have delayed the adult life aspect. If I could get a remote work gig, I would delayed like accumulating things. Things that you buy over time, a desk, furniture, all these different things to create a home, right? And where you live right here in America. Those things anchor you a little bit more because then you have the place to store all that stuff. So either you have it at your own house, your apartment, or your storage or whatever. You have to pay somebody, and it keeps you kind of stuck here. So you have to almost give up a little bit of that weight. Now, and that's only if you're trying to go much more long term and live overseas and all that stuff. But if you're someone who is looking for a remote work gig, maybe if it's a little hybrid and it gives you some flexibility, that's the kind of job or kind of gig you want to do. I am pushing for my own brand, my own clothing brand, any other business venture, so that allows me to give me the flexibility to move how I want to move when I want to move, not necessarily having to request off or having to request a certain week or whatever. I don't, it's much more flexible now than compared to when I was working at the bank. Because when I was working at the bank, I couldn't take off unless somebody else didn't have that time off. I could only be one person out of the bank that was off. You know how stressful that shit was? You know how much of a pain in the ass that was for me because I felt stuck. So if you're feeling stuck, you're in a job, where you are having to be there all the time, there's certain industries, like you're working in the car industry, you're working in, if you have, you're working in some type of, I don't know, call center or something, like, yo, get rid of that job within reason first. Make sure you've established something on the side. I read a lot of different stories about people from Forbes who started something digitally online and made money. I am trying to, I have a website, I have a clothing line, all that stuff, but that is my focal point, is that should be running as a business where it is literally being managed, just taken care of. It is making me money and I could be wherever, whenever I need to. Investments. I have an investment account. I have someone that's managing stocks. Building that. You want to have a nest egg. Something go down, you want to have a set of money. $10,000, $5,000. Start small. Put away $1,000. Grow it. Think about things that are making you money while you sleep. And it's not just one vertical. It's not just two verticals that's making you money. You want multiple, maybe 5 or 7 different verticals, avenues of where you're making money on a constant basis. Because again, you want to explore and be, a nomad, international nomad, and having a ball, living your life, being able to jump from flight to flight. Time necessarily don't really matter. I'm working my way towards it. I'm not 100% there, but only reason I'm able to pick up a trip for a weekend to Colombia or travel to South Africa, a large part of it, I sold my house. I'm renting an apartment. I plan on buying another house in the future. Um, decided to build my business, focused on adding additional resources to make money, but have a job that gives me flexibility. Because I would not be able to have gone outside the country as much as I've gone outside the country this year alone without having a job that gives me the wiggle room. My source of income. They're my main source. Amazon is my main source of reliable weekly income. Need a job that's going to pay you well, right? And if you're not being paid well, you need more experience. You need more qualifications under your belt. You need to bust your ass and not worry about trips just yet. If you cannot do that, that's not in your space right now. Take care of you. You're handling your business. Work on your purpose. I always hear that, and it is so true. Work on your purpose so you can live the life that you want, not the life that you fantasize. You want to live the life you want. You have to put in the work. There's no other way. Excuse me. You understand what I'm saying to you? So if you are able to, right now, if you're watching this video in your early 20s, your early 30s, you want to go, you see all these videos, people having a good time, and you can't necessarily make that move. Wait. Don't rush it. Wait. Because when I was, 23, I didn't know nothing about Colombia back then. You know what I mean? 25, I didn't know nothing about that. I was in that space. I was working at Verizon Wireless, 27, 28, 26, 27, I was working at Verizon Wireless. 25, 26, something like that. So, I was stuck. I didn't have that kind of that time off that I could just take like that. I was making good money, but I was focused on just making money. I can't even tell you where that money went. So you got, like, if I could go back, I wouldn't have bought half the shit I bought. Like, that's why I have to say, like, make the best decisions you can financially. Build up a nest egg. $10,000, $15,000. You can make that. You can put that aside. It may take you 2 years, but shoot, them years 25, 26, you work and bust your ass in your 20s. Not, oh, I'm gonna have fun and kill it, having fun and drinking in my 20s. Don't do that shit. You should focus more of your time on working as much as possible to have the nest egg, so that when you reach like that pinnacle age, like your early 30s, things started clicking. Things started making sense in your mind that, where you want to go in life, what you want to add value into your life, and you set a course and direction for the kind of experiences you want in your 30s, because your 30s is your new 20s. Your 30s where you go, wild out, because you done built up a career, you done built up some excitement, all of those things. So I'm taking from me. Take it from me as your mentor, he's your mentor. Put it off, wait. But if you got it like that, you got a job that's remote work and all that stuff, you got your passport, you got money in the bank. If some shit happen, I know guys that they don't have at least, $1,000 in their bank account, but they're focused on going, being in a country with, $500 for a week or $400 for a week, which is pretty reasonable to have in certain places. But for the most part, your ass get jammed up and out back, you stuck. You don't want to go to a country, without having at least $3,000 in your bank account. At least $3,000, the minimum. I'd even say $5,000. You want to have like an ample amount stowed away so you can enjoy yourself. Some shit go down, you got a little nest that you can pull from. I have money just sitting in an account that's growing. I don't even think about it. I know it's growing. I got a 401k, I got other investments. When you reach a certain age, 35, you want to have a nest egg that is growing. You want to have things out there that are making you money as you're sleeping. You're making good investments and you're getting your name out there. That's the key. I hope this video gave you some insight. I'd love to hear your commentary about what I discussed. how to digitally work, remote work overseas, how to remote work and travel and live your best life ever. I hope that you got something from this. Let me know your questions. What do you think about this video? Could you, in what you're living right now, work overseas? What questions you have about that experience? I have done it. I'm still doing it. I've worked, like I said, go to Colombia, work for during the week, get off at 5, and I'm partying. I'm having a good time. Okay. I may take off, one day or whatever, but I like to use my days off, my personal time and all that stuff. But again, let me know in the comment section. Let me know what you think. I'd love to answer them. Stay plugged in. Oh, and guess what? And not so distant future, we're gonna have Goldie Mac back. We're gonna be interviewing Goldie Mac on location in Colombia, talking about, I don't even know what we're gonna talk about, because I just know it's gonna be some hilarious shit. He's a funny dude, and I'm glad that you guys are enjoying the Goldie Mac videos. He's been telling me thank you to all the supporters. You should check him out at Mr. Goldie. I think that's his Instagram, his YouTube handle. So definitely a funny guy. Can't wait to link up back with him. But of course, man, go ahead and do what you got to do. I know you probably done talking here. I'm done hearing me talk for the day. So let's get it unplugged.